If you recall quickly toward the end of the class last time, I said a decoder has n inputs and 2 to the n outputs. And it has a chip enable here, chip enable, to turn that chip on and off. So I could have, for example, a 2x4 decoder. This is A and B. A is the most significant, B is the least. If it's 2 input, you're going to have how many outputs? 4 outputs. So there's my chip enable. And this is output 0, output 1, output 2, output 3. For this type of a decoder, that's called a 2x4 decoder, the truth table for that will look like this. We have 2 inputs. That means there are 4 combinations for the inputs. Either 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. In this case, for this circuit to be on, the chip enable, the way I drew it, has to be 1. So assume the chip enable now is on, has a value of 1, that's on. That means your output here when both of these guys are 0, only the first one is going to be on and the rest of them will be 0. When A is 0 and B is 1, only pin 1 is going to be on, the rest of them will be 0. When this is 1 and this is 0, that's pin 2. That's the value. And when both of them are on, that's pin number 3. So notice at any given time, only one of the output is on, one is high, and the rest of them are low. That's a 2x4 decoder. Now, sometimes you go to the lab and you grab the schematic for a decoder, and I'll show you what the inside looks like in a minute for one like this. Actually, I'll do it right now. What the inside of this looks like, this decoder, if I was to graph it, I'll have 2 inputs, A and A naught, B and B naught, and I have 4 AND gates. This is output 0, output 1, output 2, and this is output 3, AND gates. The first one is attached to these. When both are zeros, you complement, that's a 1, this AND gate will have a value of 1. Second one is going to have B attached to it, but A not. That's why this guy is on when you have 0, 1. This one is 1, 0. And the last one is 1 and 1. And that's really what the inside of that chip enable, not the chip enable, inside that 2x4 decoder. That's what the decoder is. That's the inside of it. It has 2 inputs, 4 outputs. Remember, when we went to the lab for these AND gates and OR gates, what did we need? We needed one of the pin to be what? 5 volts? We needed the other one to be what? 0 volts. We still need to do that. That's where the chip enable comes in. Sometimes you look at the schematic, it says you need this one to be VCC, this to be ground, and that to be ground, to be 3 things. I can make my chip enable the way they work here I can add that chip enable. For it to work, I want my chip enable to be 1, for example. If my chip enable is 1 for it to work, all I got to do now, take that chip enable, attach it to this, attach it here, attach it here, attach it right there. Because if that's 0, what will happen to all these gates? 0, nothing is working. The only time they're going to work when this is 1. So that's how you control if you want it to be 0 or 1. If you want it to work when this one is 0, what do? You put a NOT gate here and you make them all 1s now go into that AND gate. So by taking my chip enable, making it part of the input to that, because if that chip enable is 0, it doesn't matter what you put there, the result here is going to be what? All 4 will be low. It's not on, it's not working. The only time they will work if that chip enable is 1 and based on the value of A and B. And the way I attach them, there's no way 2 of them will be on at any given time. That is a 2x4 decoder.
Wait, why do they turn on individually?
Because this attached to 0 and 0. So if you put a 0 here and a 0 there, when you complement, that's a 1 and a 1. What's 1 and 1 and 1? This guy will have a value of 1. These guys will be 0 because where they attached. So a cleaner picture than mine, it will look like this. I don't know if you can see it. So for this gate to be on, the only time when this is 0 and that's 0, complement that, that's a 1. Now the other ones, because this is 0, this gate is out. Because this is 0, this gate is out. And so this is out. Where is this attached? This will be out and this will be out. So only that one. If you put 0, 1, 0 here, for example, I want to write on this. If I put 0 here and 1 there, the 1, that's good. That's attached right here, attached right there. Could be one of these two. Because this is 0. Oops, this is out. So this is out. When it's 0, this is 1. 1 is attached to this. This will be the only one that's on. Now sometimes you look at a 2x4 decoder and what it looks like this. Little bubble at the end. This is still a 2x4 decoder. But for this to work, when you see it like this, for this to work, that means this end has to be attached to where? To ground, to low voltage. And the truth table for that, when you see that bubble there, we'll call them output 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now compare it to this one. Let me put this up there. This guy says only one of them will be high at any given time. The rest of them will be low. This is backward. What does that mean, backward? Only one of them will be low, the rest will be high. Oh. Only one of them is low. And the rest will be high. And based on the value, 1, 1, 1, 0. Uh-oh. what's that here? 1 0 1 1. Yep. So that's the difference between them. This one says all going to be low except one is high. When you see the bubble, that means all high except one of them is low. They're just designed that way.
Does it look the same in the inside?
Inside, very similar to, but guess what? Instead of an AND gate, guess what you're going to have?
Yeah.
NAND gate. So the inside, if you try and see what the inside looks like, you have A naught, B, and B naught. And here's for NAND gates.
So why would they need to change the chip enabler then, not just change the AND gate?
Well, these are already designed that way. What do you mean change them? Bless you.
The enable is also getting,
Yeah, the enable is going to be one, same thing, it has to be low. So this will be attached. I'll put the chip enable in a second there. This will be attached to B. And this will be attached to A and B naught. This will be attached to both of these. So that's how these are. The first one, yep, the knot here. Yep. Just to an AND gate. So when you put a 1 and a 1 here, you're going to have a 1 going here. Let's trace that one. If I put a 1 here, this is going to be what? 0 and 0 going to this. This is going to be 1 and 0, right? This is going to be 1 and 0. And this is going to be 1 and 1. 0 and 0. 0 complement that, that's a 1. 1 and 0. What's 1 and 0? 0 complement that, that's a 1. 1 and 0. 1 complement that, that's a 1. 1 and 1, 1 complement that, that's a 0. So when you put a 1, 1 here, you want the last one to be on. That's 1, 1 is correspond to 3. You want the third one to be low. In this case, the rest of them are high. If I put a 0, 0, I'll use blue for that.
So when you touch the enabler,
Now the enabler for this, if I put chip enable here, and I attach what? What are you going to attach to it? Do you want to attach as a NOT gate? Is that what you
is
said?
that what that means, that dot?
The dot means not. Well, if I do that, let's see if that works. When you put a 0 here,
So the chip enabler will always be 0. The signature.
for this one, where there's a bubble. When there's a 0 there, what do you have? If you put a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 1, does it change that? No.
So it's unnecessary because it's already.
But if I put a 1 here for chip enable, what happened to all of these? They're all gone. Because you have 0, they'll all be 1s. Right? We don't want that. That means it's not working. When this one is working, only one of these output is going to be low, the rest will be high. They can't all be the same. Only one of them at any given time. So that's what a 2x4 decoder looks like. Again, sometimes we put these bubbles, that means the result is going to be 0 coming out of it. If there is no bubble, the result is going to be 1 coming out of it. Only one of them will have that value. If you see a 0 there, that means this will be on when the input is 0. When you attach this to ground, it will enable this to work. If it's like this, if you put a 1 here, you'll enable this one, this will work. If you put a 0, this will not work. Now a 3 by 8 is the same thing. You can have a 3 by 8 decoder, and the same thing. It has 3 inputs. And if I draw it like this, I have 8 output. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My chip enable here. So the way this one works, at any given time, only one of these guys will be high if it's working. The rest will be low. Only one is high. The rest are low. As long as this is working, as long as the chip enable is on. If I put a circle at the end of each one, only one of them is low or 0. The rest will be high. I can have 4 by 16 decoders. Here's what's going to happen in the lab. We're going to go there. I'm going to say, let's get a decoder to do some work for me. How am I going to use it? So let me take a function. This is, by the way, a 3 by 8 decoders. 74138. It says for this decoder to work, I don't know if I can make it closer. See, it has 3 inputs, has 7 output, and has 3 chip enables. Can you see the chip enables? Let me zoom in higher.
Isn't that eight outputs?
8 output. What did I say?
Said 7.
8, 0 to 7. For it to work, look at the chip enable. I gotta have high voltage here and 0 for these two. I don't know if you can see the bubble. It's better this way, but it's too far to see it. I think you can see it now, huh? So you want a 0 here, a 0 there, and a 1 there for that chip to work. The reason actually you want that, remember from the lab, we went to the lab to operate, to run any of these gates, you better have what? VCC to one and ground to the other one. That's what these two are. So you need still a third one to make sure that chip enable is working. And if they want it to be low, that'll be a case like this. They have a NOT gate going through it to feed these ANDs. That's the chip enable. So this one actually is 0 for it to be on, but these guys will be high, and there's the output. If that chip enable is not 0, forget it. It's not going to work. If you make it 1, none of these guys are on. See that truth table up there? That truth table says if you put a 1 here, this one not working, and these guys all low. But once you make it a 0, it depends. If 0, 0, that's the first one. 0, 1, that's pin number 1. 1, 0, pin number 2. 1, 1, pin number 3. That's working. A 3 by 8, the same thing. You better have a 1, a 0, and a 0 for it to work. And that's what this one is showing you. If you don't have that, any other combination, we're in trouble. It doesn't work. And the way this one works with the bubble at the end of it, it says they're all going to be high except one of them. So if I put 0, 0, 0, pin 0 will be 0, the rest will be high. If I put 0, 1, 0, pin number 2 will be 0, the rest will be high. And that's the truth table for that one. Okay. Where do we use these? And again, what happens if I said, let's go to the lab, and and I want you to build this, but first let's see how we use them. I give you this promise. You know what? I got this function. I get 2 functions. Oh, 7, not 8. 3 variables. And function 2 I want you to design a circuit that will give me a value of 1 when we have 0, 2, 5, and 7 for this, a value of 1 when we have 1, 3, 4, 5 for this. And I want you to use one decoder. One decoder and plus some gates. I didn't tell you what kind of gates.
So a decoder doesn't need only one gate in there, it needs a mix of these two outputs.
Decoder is what? I don't understand.
So like a decoder, like you know how we were drawing with like each output was an AND gate?
Yep,
So like a decoder can have something else besides an AND gate?
I showed you an AND gate when you want to be low, right?
Oh wait, never mind, yeah.
So I'm going to design this using, I look in my drawer there, my box of goodies there. You know, we have that little cardboard box that has all these chips in it. And what do you know? I see a 3x8 decoder. I says, perfect. 3x8 has 3 inputs, A, B, and C. I have 8 outputs, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I have a chip enable, EN for enable. And let's say it was drawn like this. That means for me to get it to work, I need to attach that chip enable to what? VCC. And VCC will be determined by the type of chip. It's 5 volts, 7 volts, 9 volts, 10 volts. What are we using? Usually 5 volts. I'm going to attach A, B, and C. These are the switches on that board that we have. Remember the switches on the top, you can play with them? That's A, B, and C. And when you put 0, 0, 0, you want F to be on, but you don't want G to be on. Well, if I put 0, 0, 0, what will happen? This one will light. If you attach them to light, the light will go on for this, and these will be all low. So how am I going to build this one? I said some gates.
You,
So-
you said would be used.
You just want one thing to light up?
I want it when I put 0, 0, 0. There's F. F is that one. I want this is attached to a light here. If my inputs are 0, 0, 0, I want that F to light. And I have G here attached to a different light. So if I put 0, 0, 0, I want the light to go on, but not here. If I put 0, 0, 1, I want this light to go on, but not that one. If I put 2 here, which means 0, 1, 0, I want this one to be on, not this one. If I put 0, 1, 1, that's 3. This will go on, that's not. If I put 4, this will go on. If I put 5, both of these guys will go on.
Maybe
Yes.
plug it.
Could you do like one OR gate for F, one OR gate for G, and then put
Yep. Keep going.
0 into F, and put 2 into F, 5 and 7.
Absolutely. If you do that, if you attach these, F will be on when you put the 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and 1, 1, 1. The 0, 2, 5, and 7. What do you want to attach to this one? I won't run the wires because it will look ugly. Well, I'll just put the number on them. Pin number what? 1. Pin number 3, 4, and 5. So you attach 1, 3, 4, and 5 to that one, and that will turn that one on. So 1 3x8 decoder with 2 OR gates. I didn't have to simplify. Remember Boolean algebra? Remember that Quinn McCluskey? Who cares? I got this device in my hand. I don't have to simplify it. So if I can use these, I'm not going to go and simplify. If I don't have them, I want to build it from scratch using AND and OR gate, then I'll go and simplify and build them. But here's what's going to happen in the lab. We're going to walk into the lab. I go, I need 3 by 8. Now look, oh, I don't have 3 by 8s. I have a 2 by 4. I don't have a 3 by 8 decoder. I only got 2 by 4.
Oh, you need a 3 by 8 here.
So my circuit here is not going to change. That's what I want to have. So this is my circuit, what I want to build. I want to build a 3 by 8.
But you're only having A and B.
That's what I want to build. This is F, and attached to it the 0, 2, 5, and 7. And this is G. Attached to it what? 1, 3, 4, and 5. My problem is I don't have that gate. I got 2 by 4. So how can I make a 2 by 4, take few of them, and make a 3 by 8?
Ground?
Ground what? The ones I have is actually 2 by 4. Has 2 inputs. That's what I have. It has 2 inputs. It has 4 outputs.
Well, what if you connect like one of the C, like C to both of them, and B and H separate ones?
Mm-mm. Yes.
How are you gonna do A and B to the break point and then C to ground and other C to VCC?
Well, if you attach C, what C?
Like this here and that, right?
Attached to ground?
Yeah, one and the other one. You know,
Well, we got a problem. If you attach to ground, you'll never hit the 7. Because that's always going to be ground. Right? So you'll never be able to hit that 7 or 5. Because 5 is 1, 0, 1. So once you ground this, 5 is out of the picture, 7 is out of the picture. We got a problem with this, this, and that case.
Would you simplify it then?
How about if I take 2 of them? Like this, as 2 inputs. And the 2 inputs, let me attach C and B to them.
Oh, I see. So you do one with A naught and one with A.
My chip enable, very good. This is the enable. It needs 1 to work. This is the enable, right? For that one. So I'm going to attach A to this one. And I'm going to do A naught to that one. So what happens when A is 0, it kills that one. It turns this one on, and you're looking at the first 4. When A is 1, it kills that one is off, and this one is on, and based on B and C, we can decide which output is going to be.
And how's the enable attached to those?
This enable?
Yeah, how is it attached?
I can make this, it doesn't matter where it's attached, because what's going to control. This is, I said, this is what I want to have. What you have is these enable.
No, I'm saying where does it attach? At the beginning, where A.
This won't even be here. That's what my goal is to have a 3 by 8. I said, you usually have a chip enable. That's what the design. So my chip enable,
Oh, okay.
my goal is I didn't have that, so how can I build one like that, 3 by 8? My enable is already connected. This is my chip enable now that activates this, connects to that one. This one is not a gate. This is what I want to have, but I don't have it. So now these two actually will work as 3 by 8 decoder. What about if I look in the drawer, and I'm just having fun now, and I really don't have a NOT gate there? I'm in trouble. I said, I don't have any NOT gates. The sleeve that was all the knots in it, it's gone, missing. I don't have any AND gates and NAND gates and NOR gates because you can make a NOT gate out of them. Missing. All I got, I brought with me one sleeve 2x4 decoders. That's all I have. So I got stack of 2x4, 2 sleeves with me full of 2x4. That's all I brought with me. And 2 OR gates. So I can attach F and G to them. I forgot about the NOT gate. In that case, it's going to be the same thing. The design will be the same. Enable. There's the enable. But I need to activate them, and the only thing I have is a 2x4 with me.
How would you hook up the A to the 2x4? And would you have kind of like?
And the enable here, I'll make this go to VCC, so for this one to be on at any given time.
You can raise it up a little bit.
And it's up to you how you do it now. If you decide, well, since I got VCC with me, I got the wire here, might as well attach it right here, because I have it with me. That means that's always a 1. Always. So you attach A to this one. This is 1, 0, right? When A is 0, that's pin number 2. And when this is 1, that's 1, 1, that's this one. So I can attach this one to my chip enable, and I can attach this to my chip enable. Instead of VCC, if you attach ground here, if you attach the ground here 0, then these two becomes your chip enable, 0 and 1. If you decide to attach the ground to this one or VCC to this, that'll be 0, 1, that's pin 2, and 1, 1, pin 3. I mean this one and this one. So it depends how you set it up there. You have to know which one is going to be on. So if I decide VCC here, that means that's always a 1. When you put a 0, that's 1, 0, that's this pin. 1, 1, that's this pin. So these are my chip enable, and now what we have is a 3x8 decoder. These are the games I'll be playing in the lab there, trying to build. I'll be saying, let's build this function, but you don't have it. I want to do this, I want to do that. We usually use these circuits when we have multiple output, not one. If it's only one output, a lot of times we go and just use a K-map and simplify it. But if you got F1, F2, F3, maybe a decoder might be a good way to do it. Another example, we need, here we go, 4x16 decoder. But you have only 2x4 decoders, only. So how are you going to design that?
You can't just
Four.
link
4 of them?
two different decoders.
So 4 by 16 looks like this. Has 4 inputs. A, B, C, and D. How many outputs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So what you have, you can pick 4 2 by 4 decoders. Yes, 4. The first one is the input to it, which is I'm going to use C and D. There's my chip enable. I have another one. 2 by 4. C and D, and there's the chip enable. Another one. C and D enable. Another one. C and D. I use the same input to all of them. So I use these C and D going to all of them. I use these two. Going to every one of these. My A and B, what are you going to do with them?
Put them in another check.
Decoders.
Another one decoder, 2 by 4, and you have A and B going to it. And the enable here will be, if it's high, we'll attach it to VCC. And you make pin number 0 of this, attach that chip enable. Pin number 1, attach that chip enable. Pin number 2, attach that chip enable. And pin number 3, attach that chip enable. So when A and B are 0, 0, you get the first group on. When it's 0, 1, that's this group. When it's 1, 0, that's that group. When it's 1, 1, that's this group. And now we just created a 4 by 16 decoder using only 2 by 4s.
Now, why again do you need the VCC on the enabler?
Because that chip, you need to turn that chip on.
Okay, that needs to stay on.
Yep, I want that one to stay on all the time. Because if this is off, these guys will never turn on. These I'm going to control.
And VCC makes it so it stays on all the time, and then ground makes it so it stays off.
Well, the way I draw them there. If I draw a bubble here, then that will say what? Ground here.
Because then that would make it.
Because you want that to be low to be on. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
And if, for example, if these need to be 0, maybe I'll get the one with the bubble at the end of it
Mm-hmm.
to turn these guys on.
Okay.
Okay. Let's look. Yeah, we have time.